Hello and welcome to Compare Two Columns in Excel with Power Query. My name's Jeff, I'm glad you're here. Let's just jump right in. All right, in this short video, we're gonna use Power Query to compare two lists. We're gonna get warmed up by comparing some single column lists, and then we're gonna do some multiple column tables. The fastest way is just to head straight to Excel. Exercise 1. All right, in this exercise, we basically have two lists, and we wanna find out which items are on both lists and which items are only on one list. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna load this into Power Query by going to Data, from table range. All right, with that data loaded into Power Query, we're simply going to close and load to a connection only query and click OK. With list 1 loaded, it's time to load list 2. Once again, we're going to close and load to a connection only query and click OK. Now we're going to do the comparison. Get data, combine queries, merge. Here we pick list 1 and then list 2. Now we need to identify the lookup column, which in this case is the list 1 and list 2 columns, so we just pick both of those. Now in the join kind dropdown, this is where we get to determine what type of comparison do we want to do. For example, if we pick inner, it's going to return a list of all of the matches found in both lists. However, we can also find the rows that are only in the first column or only in the second column. So you can choose this accordingly based on what you're working on. In this case, I want to find which items appear in both lists, so I'm going to select inner, and then I click OK. I don't need this list 2 column, so I'm just going to remove it, and then I'm going to close and load, and I'm going to send the results to a table, and I'm going to put it right here so I can check it out. And now we have a list of items that appear on both lists. If I wanted to do some exception reporting and find the items that appeared in list 1 only, no problem, I could easily modify this query. I can click the source gear icon, and I can change the join kind to left anti. This is rows only in the first, and I click OK. And now I can close and load, and now I have a list of items that appear only in list 1. On the other hand, if I want to see which items are in list 2 only, I can modify our query, click on the source gear icon, and change the join kind to right anti, and click OK. In the updated results, I'm going to expand this and click OK. Since this removed column step no longer applies, I'm going to remove it, and instead I'm going to remove the list 1 column. Now I can close and load, and I have a list of items that appears in list 2 only. Let's go to the next exercise, exercise 2. Now I'd like to find out which items in table 1 also appear in table 2. So again, I'm going to get this table into Power Query by going to Data, from table range. Now that that's loaded, I'm going to close and load to. I'm going to create a connection only query and click OK. I'll do the same thing with table 2. Close and load to connection only query. With those two tables in Power Query, I'm going to go ahead and get data, combine queries, merge. I'm going to pick table 1 and then table 2. Again, I need to pick the columns that must match in the same order. Product ID, option, cost, and I'm holding down Shift. I could also hold down Control, product ID, option, cost. Now the key thing is that these need to be selected in the same order. So product ID is 1 and then option 2 and then cost 3. I need to make sure those line up. So product ID 1, option 2, cost 3. Now depending on what I'm working on, I can determine the correct join kind. Inner will show me which rows appear on both. And if I wanted to do a different kind of comparison, I could pick a different join kind. In this case, I pick inner and I click OK. I don't need this table 2 column, so I'm just going to remove it. And I'm going to close and load 2, and I'll place this on a new worksheet and click OK. Now these are the items that appear on both lists. But what if we actually wanted to identify items that match product ID and option, and then I wanted to compare the cost? For example, CG231 small 6 is not found on my results. However, CG231 small does exist in the list 2, but it didn't get matched because the cost was different. So what if I wanted to compare on product ID and option columns and then compare the two cost amounts? That leads us to exercise 3. Exercise 3. The first step is to get this into Power Query, so I'm going to go to Data, from table range. Close and load to, connection only query, click OK. Do the same thing with table 4. Close and load to, connection only query. Get data, combine queries, merge. We select table 3 and table 4. This time, the columns that we're going to compare are product ID and option, product ID and option. Again, I want to look at only the matching rows and click OK. This time, I want to expand this column, and I only really want to bring in the cost. Now, to compute the difference, I'll select the first cost column and the second cost column, and then I'll click Add Column, Standard, Subtract. And now I get the difference. If I wanted to show the exceptions, I could simply filter out zeros. Then I'm going to close and load to a table in a new worksheet, and click OK. And now I see the records that appear in both tables but have different costs, and that's going to help me with my reconciliation, and I can go update the values accordingly. Hey, hopefully this helps. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Hey, Excel user. If you ever need to create summary reports, check out my Pivot Table for Beginners video. It starts at the beginning and shows how to store the data transactions in a table and then how to summarize those transactions with a pivot table report. I hope it helps unlock the incredible power of pivot tables.
This video is a production of Excel University.